Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Screamers, starring Peter Weller, Roy Dupuis, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong, please forgive me, Jennifer Rubin, Andrew Lauer, and Charles Edwin Powell, directed by Christian Duguay. Now, Peter Weller from RoboCop. Huh. Let's see how he does in a Philip K. Dick series, as he's a fan, from what I've heard. So, this might be a short review or some weird way because you'll see why. The year is 2078, as the movie's monologue brings up the NEB and how long have they been around for versus what their job is, which is a headache worthy in my opinion. And I thought, oh great, we have some bullshit way to explain the movie's supposed to work. And whenever a movie does that, I absolutely hate it as it's a headache worthy and it makes it a very bad movie right out the bat. And the special effects don't hold up from 1995 either. They look so fucking bad. A man comes up to the base or of where there are snipers at, and there's some creatures underneath the ground called screamers, which is like tremors, but in a Philip K. Dick way, as it's on crack, as he tries to deliver a message. And is this opening scene making sense? Hell no. Because this movie is full of noise to the point it was very headache worthy. And does this movie have a plot so far? Hell to the motherfucking no. As I couldn't believe on my first viewing, I fell asleep during half of this thing. It reminded me, how can anyone fall asleep during a noisy film that this succeeded, as it made no goddamn sense? A man grabs the message from the stranger's hand and brings it to Joe Hendrickson, played by RoboCop himself, Peter Weller. And he opens the message, and I like the and connect with Joe or any other characters? These people are not fucking characters. I don't connect, nor do I like them at this future and in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, what kind of future is this? And this movie looks cheesy as hell, as the sets make Sharknado look better than this pile of shit, as it would come later in the future. And I don't understand this plot, as again, it makes no sense whatsoever. A ship crashes in a bar in the laboratory, and a screamer almost kills a survivor and named Jefferson. And this movie is a load of shit. As I want to get to the rating right away, but I have to give this movie some progress to get to the note taking done for this movie. And and the characters say different names as they despite the real names, and that is not what a movie is supposed to do. And the director did a very terrible job directing these actors and sticking to the script, as I get the impression he wasn't taking control of these characters. Call themselves different names as he's an amateur and a complete fucking imbecile. I can't believe I'm on the first 30 minutes of the movie as it's already as bad as this point. And I want to get to the rating to this point, as this is one of the worst movies I've seen in this entire series by far, as I'm already checked out at this point. And the acting is horrendous, and the cinematography looks awful. As I watched the movie once and 1.5 times, plus I fell asleep on the first viewing, which tells you how much very little I cared for this about this movie. As you know what? Fuck it. I'm making this a short review just because I can't sit through this a second time, and I'm like, you know what? I can't do it. Let's just get to it. Let's just get to the rating of this thing. I'll give this movie a 1.0 out of 10. When I watched this a second time, I turned this thing off after the first 35 minutes of the movie. And when I first watched this, I fell asleep, and that tells you how little I cared about this movie. The acting is awful. The sets make Sharknado look a hell of a lot better than this. The writing is horrendous. As this movie is a boatload of shit, this is perhaps by far one of the worst movies I've seen in my entire life. It's as bad as the remake of Child's Play, Dark Phoenix, and The Visit, as the directing of this thing is a hack job. And luckily, I rented this on iTunes for only $3, and I'll continue looking at the movies based on the writing of Philip K. Dick, as some of them are good and some of them might be bad by the end of the series. And this is the first lowest rating of that I've ever given a movie, as I could not sit through a second time. It's that fucking bad. So I will be back next time with Imposter with the full review. And until then, get your ass to Mars.